Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make this really gorgeous block stitch pattern. This is a beautiful pattern for beginners to try. This is actually one of the first patterns I tried when I was a beginner and when I just started learning to crochet. This pattern is very simple to do. It looks really nice from the front and back. Okay, and you can try it in different colors. You can use this pattern for various projects. You can use it to make blankets, baby blankets. You can use it for making fingerless gloves. You can also use it to make like a phone case cover. Like here I've made a cover for my tab, for my tablet. Okay, so I've made this block stitch pattern and this is how it looks from the front and back. Okay, this is one of the first stitches I made and it's really easy to do and it looks really gorgeous. Okay, so this is the block stitch. And I'll also be showing you in this tutorial a very easy method wherein you don't have to cut and sew in your your yarn in each row. I'll show you a method wherein you just have to carry along the yarn and it makes the project so much easier to do because you don't have to really sew in each ends of each row. Okay, you just have to sew in at the beginning and at the end. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So if you would like to learn how to make this easy block stitch pattern, then please keep watching. In this tutorial, I'll be using a 4mm size crochet hook and the yarn corresponding to the size of my hook. You may use whichever crochet hook size is available to you. Just make sure that the yarn you use corresponds to your hook size. Okay, so now to begin, we need to start with a simple slip knot. Okay, you can make your slip knot whichever way you prefer. If you're an absolute beginner and you want to learn the basics of how to crochet, how to hold your yarn, how to make the slip knot and so on, I have other tutorials in my beginner series, so I will leave the links to those tutorials in the info box below, so you may check that out if you need to. Okay, so once you've made your slip knot like so, now we are ready to make our foundation chain. Okay, so now for the block stitch, you need to make a foundation chain in the multiples of 3. Okay, so you can make your foundation chain however long or however short you would like, depending on where you're going to use this project. Okay, so just make sure that the total number of chains you make is a multiple of 3. Okay, so to make a foundation chain, all you need to do is make sure your crochet hook is facing up, it's facing you like so. Okay, and then just place your hook below your yarn like this. Pull your hook down. Okay, grabbing your yarn, pull it down and pull it all the way through. Okay, so that right there is chain 1. Okay, so you're just going to repeat that. You're going to go below your yarn like so. Pull your hook down, grabbing your yarn, pulling it down and pulling it through. Okay, that's chain 2. Chain 3, chain 4, chain 5. Alright, so just you can pause this video here and then just go ahead and make your foundation chain however long or short you would like. Just make sure that it is a multiple of 3. So here I've finished my foundation chain. Okay, for the sake of the tutorial, I've made a chain of 21. Okay, so once you've made the length that you desire, okay, just making sure that the total number of chains is a multiple of 3. Okay, this will be the width of your project. Okay, we'll be working our stitches in this direction upwards. Okay, so we'll be working upwards like that, and so this will be the width of your project. Okay, just make sure that the number of chains you made is a multiple of 3. And now once you're done with that, you're going to make 4 more chains to this foundation chain. Okay, just add 4 more chains. Okay, don't worry, these 4 chains will just be the side stitches or the turning stitches for your project. Okay, so just add 4 more chains like so. Okay, now this completes our foundation chain, and now we're ready to begin row 1. Okay, so now for row 1 we'll be working double crochet stitches all the way till the end. Okay, so when I say double crochet, this is the US term. In the UK, this will be your treble crochet stitch. Okay, so we'll be working 1 double crochet into each chain all the way till the end. Okay, so the first double crochet that we'll be working will be on the 4th chain space from the hook. Okay, so into the 4th chain space from the hook. So when you're counting your chains from your hook, you're not going to count this loop on your hook. Rather, you're going to start counting from the one below it. So this one right here. Okay, so this will be chain 1, then you've got chain 2, chain 3 and chain 4. So this chain space here is my 4th chain from the hook, right? So into this chain space I'll be working my first double crochet. Okay, so to make a double crochet, you just need to yarn over once like so, making a twist of yarn on your hook like that. Insert your hook into that 4th chain space like so. Okay, grab your yarn, pull it through. Okay, so that gives us 3 loops on our hook. Alright, you're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops like so. Okay, 2 loops on our hook now, right? And then you're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, so that right there is 1 double crochet stitch. Okay, so now you can see that we had skipped 3 chains right in the beginning, and we worked our double crochet, our first double crochet into the 4th chain, right? So these 3 chains over here will also act as 1 double crochet stitch in row 1. Okay, so this will be like a false double crochet stitch here, and then we made our first proper double crochet stitch here. Okay, I hope I didn't confuse you. Just those 3 chains that we skipped, they will also act as 1 double crochet stitch. Okay, so now we'll just be doing the same thing all the way till the end. So we'll be working 1 double crochet stitch into the next chain space. So if you see carefully, we just worked this double crochet stitch into this chain space here, right? So now we'll be working into the next chain space. So this one right here, we'll work another double crochet stitch. Okay, so you're going to yarn over once like so, insert your hook into the next chain space. All right, grab your yarn, pull it through. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Okay, you're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops like so, and now we have 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, so that's 1 double crochet into the next chain space. Okay, now we're just going to repeat that. So next we are going to make another double crochet into the next chain space. Okay, so this is the one that we just worked into, so we'll be working our next double crochet into the next chain space here. Okay, so do the same thing, yarn over once, insert your hook into the next chain space like so. Grab your yarn, pull it through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, so that's 1 double crochet into the next chain space. Okay, so just repeat this all the way till the end. So 1 double crochet into each chain space all the way till the end. Okay, so just work 1 double crochet into each chain space. Okay, so work your way till the end and I'll meet you right here. Okay, so here I've finished my row 1. Okay, so I just worked 1 double crochet into each chain space all the way till the end. Okay, if you want to make sure that your stitch count is accurate, when you count your double crochets, you need to have a total of remember the foundation, the number of chains we made at the beginning. Okay, the multiple of 3 that I mentioned. So that number plus 2 should be the total number of double crochets in your row 1. For instance, I had made my foundation chain of 21, right? So in my row 1, I will have 21 plus 2, so that's 23 double crochet stitches in row 1. Okay, and that will include, as I mentioned earlier, that will include the chain 3 that we skipped here. Okay, the chain 3 that we skipped in the beginning, that will count as 1 double crochet as well. Okay, so if you want to make sure that your stitch count is right, just go ahead, count the number of double crochet stitches you have in row 1, and it should be equal to the number of chains you made at the beginning, your foundation chain, plus 2. Okay, so this completes our row 1, and now for row 2 we'll be changing our color. Okay, we'll be using another yarn. So I've decided to use this really gorgeous baby pink color. So you can attach your yarn to your project, okay, whichever way you like. I'll just show you the method that I prefer for the block stitch. Okay, so what I like to do when I attach my yarn is the last double crochet that we worked in this row, right, the last double crochet, so this one right here, what I like to do is I would normally unravel the last looping and then attach my new yarn. Okay, so I'll just show you what I mean by that. I'll just be removing the last double crochet here just to show you my method of joining the new yarn. Okay, so what I normally do is I'll start my double crochet, the last double crochet, as normal. Okay, so yarn over once, insert your hook into that last chain space, grab your yarn, pull through. We've got our 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, right, and then at the end we have 2 loops here. Normally what we would do is yarn over and pull through these 2 loops as well, right, but because I want to change my color, I will stop right here, and instead of yarning over this color, I'll take the new yarn, okay, and then place it behind like so. Okay, and then yarn over the new yarn like that. Okay, and pull the second color through these 2 loops. Okay, so like so, right, and then I'll just chain 1 to secure. Okay, that's it. So this is how I prefer to join my yarn when I'm doing my block stitch. Okay, and then you can just pull the first color yarn like that just to sort of secure everything in place. And now we are ready to begin row 2. Okay, so for row 2 we'll just be turning the project like so. Okay, we'll just turn our project like this. Okay, and then we'll begin with our row 2. So one thing that you need to remember is that in our block stitch, you should always carry the previous yarn along with your stitches. Okay, it makes it much easier to do the block stitch rather than changing, cutting off your yarn and joining it again in each row, because as you notice, the block stitch, we have a different color in each row, right? So we do 1 row of this color, then 1 row of the second color, then again another color. So instead of joining and cutting again and again in each row, what I prefer to do is just carry the yarn along with you. That makes it much more easier to do. Okay, so as you've seen, I have not, as you can see, I have not cut the first yarn, I've just let it be. Okay, so what I'll be doing is, while continuing my row 2, I'll just be taking the first color, so the first yarn, okay, along with my stitches on top like this. Okay, so I'll tell you what I mean by that. So let's start with row 2. So we had just chained 1, right, at the beginning, so let that be. And now what you're going to do is work 1 single crochet into this very same stitch space. Okay, the first stitch space here, we'll be working 1 single crochet. Okay, so when I say single crochet, this is the US term. In the UK, this will be your double crochet stitch. So what I'm going to be doing is insert my hook back into that same stitch space like so. Okay, then grab my yarn, pull it through. Okay, I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so that's 1 single crochet into that first stitch space itself. Okay, like so. All right, and then I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Okay, so after your single crochet, you chain 2, and then what you're going to do is skip the next 3 double crochets from your first row. So if you see carefully, this single crochet that we just worked, it was above this double crochet, so let that be. Okay, and then you're going to skip the next 3 double crochet stitches. So that's this one, 1, 2 and 3. And then we are going to work 1 single crochet into this space here. Okay, so you're basically skipping the next 3 double crochets. This double crochet here is a turning stitch, so that we are anyway skipping. Okay, because we just worked 1 single crochet above it, right? And then what you're going to do is skip the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so after you chain 2, okay, you're going to work 1 single crochet into this space right here. Okay, I hope you can see this. So skipping these 3 double crochets and working 1 single crochet right here. So as you can see, I'm holding this first yarn, okay, on top of my stitches like so that it sort of goes along with me in row 2 as well. Okay, you'll see why I'm doing that in a bit. Just make sure that you're holding your first yarn on top of your stitches like so. Okay, so I'm just going to go into this space and work 1 single crochet. So skipping 3 double crochets here, inserting my hook, grabbing my yarn, pulling it through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so that's 1 single crochet right there. Okay, so this is how your stitches will look like. You can just pull on this if you need to. Okay, and after that you're just going to chain 2 again. So 1, 2. Okay, and then you're going to skip the next 3 double crochets. So this is where we just worked our single crochet, right? So you're going to skip the next 3. So this is 1, 2 and 3, right, and work a single crochet into this space right here. Okay, into this space here, we're working another single crochet. So again, I'm holding my first color yarn on top of the stitches like so. Okay, inserting my hook into that space, grabbing my yarn, pulling through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so 1 single crochet there. Okay, and then again I'm going to chain 2. So basically I'm just going to repeat this all the way till the end. So chain 2, skip the next 3 double crochets. So this one, 1, 2, 3, right, and work a single crochet into this space here. Make sure you're carrying over the first yarn. Okay, and just going to repeat that all the way till the end. So I worked a single crochet there, right? Then again I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Okay, make sure I'm carrying my yarn like so. Okay, on top of my stitches. Skip the next 3 double crochet stitches. So this one, 1, 2 and 3, and work a single crochet into this space here. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook into that space like so, grab my yarn, pull through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. So that's basically it. So this is how your stitches should look like. Okay, so just continue that all the way till the end. So work your single crochet, then you chain 2, 1, 2, carry your yarn forward, your first yarn forward, okay, skip 3 double crochets, so 1, 2, 3, into this space work another single crochet, right, and just repeat that all the way till the end, and I'll tell you what to do here. Okay, again chain 2, skip 3 double crochets, work a single crochet into that space there. Make sure you're carrying over the previous yarn as well. Okay, so you may pause this video, reach the end, and I'll tell you what to do right here. Here I've reached the end of row 2, okay, and as you can see, when you reach the end you'll have 4 double crochets left, and that's how it's supposed to be, so don't panic. Okay, so when you reach your last stitches here, your last few stitches, you'll see that you'll have 4 double crochets at the end. So you're going to basically do the same thing as we did all the way till here. So after your single crochet you chain 2, okay, you chain 2 like how you did before. You're going to skip the next 3 double crochets, so 1, 2 and 3, okay, and work a single crochet into this space here. All right, just go ahead and make your last single crochet like so, okay, and then as you can see that you'll have 1 extra double crochet at the end here. Okay, that's fine, that's how it's supposed to be, so don't worry about that. Okay, so this basically completes your row 2, and now we can begin with row 3. Okay, so for row 3 again we'll be using the first color. Okay, so this is where you'll have to change your color again, and this is why I told you before to carry your color with you so that it's much easier to change, and you don't have to worry about sewing in the ends for each row. Okay, so once you're done with your row 2, you can straight away start with your first color. Okay, so what I like to do is for my last single crochet, okay, I like to not do the looping, so I'll just show you what I usually do. So instead of, okay, I'll just do it again. So my last single crochet, right, so I'll start it like normal, okay, wherein I just insert my hook into that last space, grab my yarn, pull through, right, and we have our 2 loops on our hook. Now normally when we complete the single crochet we yarn over and pull through these 2 loops, right, but because I want to change my color here, what I do is I drop this color, okay, that I was working on, and I take the first color in, I hold my first color like so and yarn over the first color and pull through these 2 loops, okay, like so. This is just another method for joining my color yarn. Okay, so now I've got the first color on my hook. Okay, so this is just another way to do it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 3. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then I'm going to turn my work like so. Okay, and again as you can notice I'm not cutting the other yarn. Okay, I'll just be working it along with my stitches here in row 3 as well. Okay, and this yarn will work into the stitches and I'll just change the color again for the next row. Okay, so this is a tip for you in case you don't want to cut and join in each row. Okay, so we just chained 3 here. Okay, we turned our project and now we are ready to begin row 3. So in row 3, when we are starting, we'll be working only into these chain 2 spaces that we made from the previous row. Okay, so we'll just be working into these chain 2 gap spaces from the previous row. Okay, we'll be working 3 double crochet stitches each into these chain 2 spaces. Okay, so another thing is that, see, as I mentioned before, I'm not cutting my second color yarn, right? I'm still holding it here along with my stitches, okay, so that when I work my third row, that this yarn will continue and go along with me till the end. Okay, so make sure that you're doing that as well. And we'll be working 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space here. Okay, so you're just going to yarn over once like so. Okay, now when you insert your hook into that chain 2 space, make sure you're taking the yarn with you. Okay, so go below that yarn, go into that space, and when you see carefully, you'll see that you'll make sure that you're taking all the yarn with you. So I hope that makes sense, so that you don't have anything lagging here behind. Make sure that the yarn from the previous rows are with you, so that it's a complete space. Okay, for example, it shouldn't be like this. I'll just show it to you in the sense like this. It shouldn't be like this. Okay, wherein you have that previous yarn coming here. Make sure you're taking all those yarn strands with you when you're going through that space. Okay, so you yarn over, make sure you're going into that space wherein you're taking all the yarn with you. So go below all of that. So when you check, you have this nice gap space here and no yarn strands over there, because in the second row also we took our yarn along with us, right? So you'll have that yarn strand here. Make sure you're working that also into the stitch, so that the appearance of your block stitch will be much neater. I'm taking time to explain this because it's a little difficult to explain it on camera. So I hope that makes sense. So as you can see that when I'm inserting my hook, I have this really nice clean stitch. Okay, and all the strands are into my stitch. Okay, and I'm just going to work 3 double crochets like normal. Okay, so that's my first double crochet, right? 2 more double crochets into that very same space. So we are working a total of 3 double crochets into that space. Okay, so this is how it should look like. The stitch should look neat. Okay, so make sure you're taking all the strands with you. So there I worked my 3 double crochet stitches. Okay, now next we'll just be going again into the next chain 2 space, so this one here, and working another 3 double crochet stitches there. So again, I'll just try to show you how to take all the strands with you. So this strand, of course, it will be over here. You'll be taking that, then the chain 2, and then this maroon color yarn that we carried over in the second row, that strand as well. Okay, so this space here is where you'll be inserting your hook. Okay, show it to you. So you yarn over once, make sure you're taking all your strand with you in that space, so that your stitches look much neat like that. See how I'm taking it? Okay, make sure you're carrying over the second color yarn, this baby pink color. See, I'm taking it along with me. Okay, it might be a little difficult to understand at first, but once you do it, you'll realize how easy this is and how simple it makes your project, and it looks very neat. Okay, so you're basically doing the same thing. You're working 3 double crochets into that chain 2 gap space as well. So work 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 1 more. Okay, so you're basically just working like that all the way till the end. So 3 double crochets into each chain 2 gap space. Okay, so again I'll just show it to you once more. So here is my next chain 2 gap space, and I'll just be making sure I'm taking my strands with me. So this space here, okay, make sure you're working into this space here. So I'm taking this yarn, the chain 2, and also the first color yarn that we carried over in row 2. Okay, for a neater appearance, right? So we yarn over and work 3 double crochets into that space. Okay, That's 1 double crochet. Okay, second double crochet and third double crochet. Okay, I hope this is clear. So see how your stitches are coming to be. It looks very neat and very nice, and you don't have to sew in, all the ends in each row. Okay, it's very neat as well. So take your time, try to do this method, and you'll see how easier it makes your project. Okay, so just repeat this all the way till the end. Make sure you're carrying your strands along with you. Okay, you're carrying over this color as well. Make sure you're carrying over this color as well. Okay, and work just 3 double crochets into each chain 2 space. Take your time. It will be a little confusing at first, but trust me, just work with me. Okay, and repeat that till the end, and I'll meet you here. Okay, so here I've reached my last chain 2 space, okay, for my row 3. Okay, and we are basically going to do the same thing. We are going to be working 3 double crochets here as well. I just wanted to show you that, see, I'm still carrying over my yarn, okay, the previous yarn, along with my stitches. Okay, so always make sure that you're carrying it over, okay, and that you've not left it behind. Okay, it makes it so much easier. Okay, so again, the same thing. I'm working 3 double crochets into my last space, and again I'm making sure that I take all the strands with me, when I'm inserting my hook, so that I get a much neater appearance like that. Okay, and working 3 double crochets into that gap space. It's always the first double crochet which will take more time, because you want to make sure that you're carrying all your strands with you. Okay, then the second double crochet and the third one. Okay, like so. All right, and this is how your stitches should look like. Okay, and then when you reach the end here, we have one single crochet here from the previous row, right? We'll just be working 1 double crochet into that into the top of that stitch as well. Okay, so again you're going to yarn over once like so, insert your hook into the top of that single crochet. Okay, grab your yarn, pull it through 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on our hook, and normally we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops as well, but because I want to change my color in my next row, so in row 4 again we'll be working with this baby pink color, so I'll just be holding the next color with me and then pulling the new yarn or the second color through these last 2 loops. Okay, so basically don't forget to do 1 double crochet at the end as well. Okay, so that's it, and I'm just going to pull both the ends so that it's all secure. All right, so this is how it will look like. We worked 3 double crochets into the last chain 2 space and worked 1 double crochet at the end here. Okay, so 3 double crochets here and then 1 double crochet at the end here, and changed our color, chain 1. Okay, turn your project around. Okay, and then we can start with our row 4. So for row 4, it's going to be the same method as we did for row 2 as well. Okay, so row 4 is very similar to row 2. We'll be doing the same thing. Okay, so we'll be working after our chain 1, we'll be working 1 single crochet back into that same stitch space that we just worked into. Okay, so insert your hook right back into that first stitch space like so, grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both the loops. Okay, so we just worked 1 single crochet into the first stitch space there. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, right, and then we are going to skip the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so these 3 double crochets here, 1 2 3, and we'll be working 1 single crochet right into this space. So just above the previous the row 2 here, it will be aligned along with the single crochet that we made in row 2. Okay, so it becomes much more easier now. Okay, so after your chain 2, skip the next 3 double crochets and work 1 single crochet into this space. And as you can see, I'm still carrying along the first color, okay, the first yarn. Okay, so make sure you're holding your yarn along with you so it gets much more easier. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still holding this yarn, placing it on top of my stitches like so. Okay, and then going into this space right here and making 1 single crochet. Okay, and then once you're done, you can just pull this gently. Okay, and that's done. So you're just going to repeat this all the way till the end for row 4. You're going to chain 2 again, 1 2. Okay, skip the next 3 double crochets. So skip these 3 double crochets and work 1 single crochet right here into this gap space, and that will align with the single crochet that we made in row 2 as well. Okay, and make sure that you're carrying along your yarn with you. Okay, the first color with you, so it makes things a lot more easier. Okay, it might be a little difficult if you're a beginner, to hold all the yarn together, but once you get used to it, it's such easy, it makes everything so much easier. Okay, so I worked 1 single crochet here and chain 2. Okay, skip the next 3 double crochets, make sure you're carrying your yarn with you, and work a single crochet into that gap space there. Okay, like so. Okay, so basically just repeat that all the way till the end. So your row 4 is basically your row 2, so it's the same thing. Okay, single crochet, chain 2, skip the next 3 double crochets, carry your yarn with you, and work 1 single crochet here. So you may pause the video if you need to, and then go ahead and reach the end, and I'll tell you what to do here. So here I've reached the end of row 4 as well, and as you can see, I'm still carrying over the previous color yarn. Okay, so I finished my single crochet here and I chain 2. I'm going to skip the next 3 double crochets, so these 3 stitches here, and as you can see, you have 1 extra double crochet here. Okay, and that's normal, that's fine, that's your turning stitch. So into this space before that one, so here, okay, after your 3 double crochets from this set, okay, you're going to work 1 single crochet into this gap space here as normal. Okay, like that. And instead of completing the single crochet, because I want to change my color for the next row, so I'll be taking the first color. Okay, I'll be holding the first color yarn and then yarning over and pulling through the first color through these 2 loops. Okay, alright, so that's how I like to change my color. And now you're just going to chain 3, 1 2 and 3. Okay, and then we are going to start with the next row, so row 5, and row 5 will again be the same as we did for row 3. Okay, so you're just going to basically do the same thing. You chain 3 like so, and then you're going to turn your project. Okay, and every time you turn your project, I would suggest just to make sure that your project is straight. So just, because you are carrying over the yarn, it might get a little too tight, the tension might get tight. So just make sure that before you start your row, and as soon as you finish each row, just make sure that you stretch your stitches like so, so that your work is straight. Okay, so after you chained 3, again make sure that you're carrying over the other color yarn with you. Okay, along with your stitches on top like this. Okay, and after your chain 3, this chain 3 will act as 1 false double crochet. Okay, so let that be like that, and then just work 3 double crochets into this chain 2 gap space. okay, just as we did for row 3. So we are basically repeating the same thing. We'll be working 3 double crochets each into these chain 2 spaces, okay. So again, make sure that you're taking all the strands with you when you're doing the double crochet. I'll just show it to you again. So you yarn over once like so, okay, and when you insert your hook into that chain 2 space, make sure that you're inserting your hook neatly in such a way that all your strands are, you know, taken along with your hook like that, okay. And then make sure you're carrying over this color yarn as well, and then work your double crochet, 3 loops, yarn over, okay. That's 1 double crochet, and as you can see, all the strands in this space I've taken it, okay, so it's much more neater. Then work 2 more double crochets there, so a total of 3 double crochets in that space, okay. 2 and 3, okay. So that's 3 double crochet done, and again do the same thing all the way till the end. So you're basically repeating row 3 again, okay. So 3 double crochets again into the next chain 2 gap space, so this one right here. So again, when you're inserting your hook, make sure that you're taking the strands with you. So this strand of the second color, your chain 2, and the strand that you carried over in the previous row, okay. So insert your hook below all those strands, grab your yarn, pull through, and you can see that all the strands are taken, right? And then continue your double crochet. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet, okay. So just work your way till the end, work 3 double crochets each into these chain 2 spaces from the previous row, work all the way till the end, and I'll meet you right here, okay. So I've reached the end of row 5 here, and I've got my last chain 2 space here. So I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be working 3 double crochets into that chain space as well, okay, making sure that I'm taking all my strands with me, okay, here, so that the stitches appear much neater, okay. So work your last 3 double crochets as well, okay, like so. Okay, so I worked 3 double crochets into my last space here, and then to finish off this row, you're going to work 1 double crochet into this last into the top of this single crochet here, okay. We are working 1 double crochet, so you're going to yarn over once like so, insert your hook into the top of that single crochet, grab your yarn, pull through, so 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook, and now normally we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops as well, but since we want to change our color for the next row, I'm gonna just take the second yarn like this, yarn over and pull through the second yarn through these 2 loops okay, like so, and then I'm gonna chain 1 to secure, okay, and then you can turn your project and continue the next row as well. So you're basically just going to repeat rows 2 and 3 again and again till you get the height that you require, okay. Just a quick tip before I end this tutorial is that when you're working your strands like so, okay, when you're carrying over your yarn strand like so in each row, there's a tendency for the tension to get too tight, and you know the stitch might get a little, you know, too tight. So what I would suggest is when you finish each row, okay, just straighten your stitches like so, just pull gently on the sides and make sure your stitch is straight, okay, and then continue with the next row. So that's just another tip, especially for beginners, because when you're carrying your yarn along with you in each row, you tend to sort of pull it too tight, and then the tension becomes too tight for your project, okay. So just make sure when you finish a row, just straighten out your project and then continue with your next row. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed doing the block stitch with me. I hope this tutorial was easy for beginners to follow as well. Please leave your doubts or suggestions in the comment box below, and I would love to hear from you guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you could follow, so I know, and subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials and updates. Just click on the red button below the video, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.